Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday morning, and I am going to be talking about your thoughts and how they can create results in your life, or how they do create results in your life. The first thing that I want to say is what I'm not saying is that if something terrible happens to you, you have created that in your life. There are definitely things in life that happen to us and they are beyond our control. And those things can be really wonderful things and really awful things. So I'm not saying that if you've had something terrible happen to you that you've created that. But what I am saying is that the way that we choose to react to different circumstances in our lives can absolutely impact the where we go from there and what happens in the aftermath of whatever the event is. So the better able we are to manage our thoughts and our feelings, the more open we're going to be to having control over the way we react to things and seeing possibilities instead of limitations. And I also want to say that life is 50-50. So there are going to, half of life is going to be wonderful and amazing, and half of it is not. And so we also want to be open to feeling all of our feelings. But knowing that even just that thought that it's safe to feel all of our feelings can change the way you show up in your life. It will, if you're, less afraid of feeling sad or feeling upset or angry, you may, or feeling like you failed at something, you're going to show up differently than you would if you're afraid of those feelings. So even just the thought of it's safe to feel all of my feelings is going to shift the way you show up in your life. And one of the reasons that I love EFT so much is because an EFT, emotional freedom technique, or sometimes called tapping, is that it's a really great tool to uncover our limiting thoughts and beliefs. And these thoughts and beliefs keep us stuck. And part of the reason they keep us stuck is because often we have no awareness that we even have them. Or if we are aware of it, we think that they are the truth. We think it's an absolute fact, and we don't question it, and we just operate under the assumption that it's true and that there's nothing that we can do to change it. When in fact, it is absolutely a thought, and we can shift that thought and then shift the way that we show up and the actions that we take, and then the result that we can achieve. So our the feelings that we have are always created by our thoughts. You know this because you will get a feeling in your body, whether it's a knot in your stomach or a feeling of like being at peace and feeling freedom, depending on what's going on. We react to situations and we have thoughts about them, and those thoughts are going to show up in our bodies and impact the way that we experience those situations. So, I want to give you an example of a thought that is a potentially negative thought and how it might impact your life. So, if you have a thought that you're never going to make enough money to afford the things that you want to do, that's going to create a feeling of stress. You might make you anxious. You're going to definitely feel this sense of lack and feeling stuck, like I'm never going to be able to make enough money. I'm never going to be able to do the things that I want to do. And you're going to walk around with that experience of life. And if that is your experience of life and you have an unexpected bill coming in, particularly if it's a large bill, the chances are that you're going to spin into a panic. You're going to, you're already on edge when it comes to money. And then you find out that you've got, $1,000 dental bill. And suddenly, like that edge that you're walking on, you feel like you're about to fall off. And when you're in a panic, it's virtually impossible to think clearly about what you want to do to handle the situation. And so you're either going to become edgy and irritable, or you're going to withdraw and shut down. So you can use tapping in that situation to calm your nervous system and just bring down your level of stress, and clear your mind. And so as you do that, you may also start to become more aware of the thoughts that you have, like, oh my god, this is the end of the world. I'm going to have to cancel the vacation. I can't have the roof fixed. Whatever it is, you may start to become more aware of those thoughts, and or develop, sort of neutralize the emotions around those thoughts and get a little bit of space so that you can start to, see those thoughts from a distance and maybe even start to question it. Is it true that I can't pay this bill? Is it true that we're going to have to skip the vacation? Is it true that I have no access to additional money? And as you question yourself, you may find that, yeah, those things are true, but it's easier for you to create a plan to deal with it. Or you may realize, like, no, actually, I do have access to additional money. Or we're not going to have to skip the vacation if we do X, Y, and Z. So you start to be able to think a little bit more clearly and process the information, which then allows you to make better decisions. It's not going to make the situation go away, at least not in the immediate, but it will give you some tools so that you can deal with it in a way that's going to serve you better than if you were dealing with it in a panic. So the idea that our thoughts create our results may still feel a little questionable to you. You may kind of think, well, yeah, I get that, but I don't 100% believe it, which is fair. So, but I want you to think about, we all know someone who, or have experienced someone, and who we look at and we think, gosh, that person just has the worst attitude ever. They're so negative, they're always complaining, nothing's ever good enough, they're miserable to be around, and they're making themselves miserable. When it's something that's that extreme, for most of us, it's easy to look at this other person and see, like, how the way that they're looking at the world is absolutely creating their experience of it. We all have some element of that. It isn't as extreme for the most part, and it's more subtle, which also makes it a little bit harder to deal with because we kind of hide it from ourselves. But we all have that capacity to see the world in a negative way. Or even if it's not like totally gloom and doom, we may have these small limiting thoughts, and all we have to do is shift it the tiniest bit, and that could change everything. So I want to walk you through an exercise just to help you kind of get more connected to this idea that your thoughts create your results. And I'm going to describe some situations to you, and I want you to really like sit and picture them. If at the end, and I'm hoping that at the end you're going to really be kind of all in with this idea that our thoughts create our results. But if you're not, I want you to actually go through these exercises in real life over the next couple of days and see what your experience is. Okay, so we're going to start by focusing on negative thoughts. So I want you to sit for a minute, and I want you to think about anything in your life that's going wrong. The things that are making you mad, the things that are pissing you off, that are upsetting you, that are making you feel stuck, that are just really bothering you and detracting from the quality of your life. So think about all the negative things. It could be something big, like a struggle in a relationship, or you hate your boss, or you're worried about one of your children, or it could be something less, like the dishwasher is on the fritz and you're going to have to replace it, or the landscaper didn't show up last week. Whatever it is, the big and the not so big. Just think about all of those negative things in your life. And just make a mental list of all the things that are bothering you right now. And think about the people in your life that are driving you crazy. The next door neighbor who mows the lawn at 7 in the morning, or the guy, who cut you off in traffic, or whatever it is, like all the people that just annoy you. Just focus on that. Really think about it. I also want you to think about the problems in your life and assume that they're dead ends, that they can't be solved. Or if they can be solved, it is going to take a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and it's just going to be absolutely exhausting. So just sit with the feelings that these thoughts are bringing up in your body. Be really present with those thoughts. Spoiler alert, it should feel crappy. Okay, now kind of shake yourself out, let that go. And we are going to focus on the positive. So you're going to start by making a mental list of things in your life or people that you are grateful for. And it could be, something as simple as having a roof over your head or air conditioning on a really hot day. It could be your health or your iPhone, whatever it is. There's no judgment, and anything that makes your life a little bit easier or just adds to enjoyment can be on that list. And then I want you to think about the people in your life that you love and how much you love them and what they add to the quality of your life. Imagine telling them how much you love them or what you love about them, and doing something that's going to make them smile. And feel how you're going to feel when that happens. And then I want you to think about the different situations in your life, especially the ones that might be a little challenging, and look for the blessings or the opportunities in those situations. See the glass as half full. Consider your challenges and assume that it's an opportunity to learn or grow in some way. Maybe it's an opportunity to have a difficult conversation in a relationship that can potentially strengthen the quality of the relationship. Or maybe it's an opportunity to find a job that you really love. Sit with all of that in your body, all of those feelings that stem from the positive thoughts that you just generated. How does that feel? And how is that different from the way that you felt when you were thinking your negative thoughts? Now I want you to think about the impact of making those choices every day. How could your life change if you saw all of your challenges and problems as opportunities? What if each problem is a door and you get to choose if you're going to keep the door locked and stay right where you are, or if you're willing to take the chance and unlock the door to see what's on the other side? You always have a choice. You always have a choice. So I want you to pick one thing in your life that feels stuck or stagnant right now. Something that you'd like to change, something that's bothering you, and that might feel like there's no solution, or maybe you know there's a solution, but you can't for the life of you figure out what it is, or the solution feels so far-fetched that it's not even worth thinking about. So find something in your life, and it can be something small or it can be something bigger. Just something that you would like to change. And then I want you to ask yourself the question, wouldn't it be crazy if? And then answer it. Wouldn't it be crazy if I could find a job that paid me 20% more? Wouldn't it be crazy if I could buy that beach house? Wouldn't it be crazy if I could meet the partner of my dreams? Wouldn't it be crazy if my partner and I could have a date night once a week? Wouldn't it be crazy if I could travel around the world? Wouldn't it be crazy if I could lose 20 pounds? I want you to sit with the possibility of that crazy answer. Lean into it. Feel it in your body. And it might feel 99% impossible. It may cause stress in your body because it feels crazy. It feels like, why am I even thinking about this? It's never going to happen. And your brain and your body might get really anxious and stressed and try to shut you down. And that's okay. That's what our brains do. They try to keep us safe. But I want you to lean into that 1% possibility, or that 0.1% possibility, whatever that teeny little crack where the sunlight's coming in. I want you to lean into it and just let it percolate in your mind. Just keep telling yourself that it's possible. You're not saying it's going to happen. You're not saying it's definite. You're just saying it's possible. And feel if there's a little shift in your body. You might feel yourself relax the tiniest bit. You might feel a little bit of space kind of open up somewhere. Just lean into that. And your homework is to keep thinking that thought. Keep asking yourself that question. Write it down if you want and stick it up on your mirror or someplace where you're going to see it every day. Tell someone about it, someone who would understand and who you could talk to about it. Wouldn't it be crazy if we did this? Wouldn't it be crazy if we put our stuff in storage and rented an RV and drove around the country? Wouldn't it be crazy if we backpacked across South America? Wouldn't it be crazy if we started that business we've been talking about for years? Wouldn't it be crazy if we homeschooled our kids? Whatever it is, just lean into it and let yourself believe that it is possible. And just see what happens. And if you want to try tapping, you can simply just tap on, even though this thing that I want feels impossible right now, I choose to be open to the possibility that it could happen. Do that a couple of times and then tap on the points. I'm open to it being possible. I'm open to it being possible. This could happen. Wouldn't it be crazy if this happened? this could happen. This could really happen. I am totally open to the possibility. And just see how you feel. And if you're interested in other tapping videos, you can check those out on my YouTube video, School for Joy. And that is all for today. So thank you so much for joining. Wishing you a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next week.